Hello, friends. I'm going to share this into our Facebook community. Like, just give me a second. How are you? What's up? Okay, so I'm doing this thing where I've just started going live whenever the heck I feel like it and talking about whatever the heck I feel like, and just like trusting it's going to reach the right people and provide a ton of value and like be fun for y'all. Um, I have realized so much. I did a live yesterday actually that was all on like when being right trying to be right goes wrong. And so I am really trying to like notice all the places where I have been kind of like suppressing my own self-expression around things because I was like, oh, well, is that the right place to put it? Is that the right thing to say? Is that the right thing to do? And does this go along with the launch that we're in? Does this make sense from a sharing perspective? And I'm just kind of at the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to share what I want to share. And there's a tiny little bug friend here with me. Okay. So if you're here with me live, please say hi because I love talking to y'all. If you are somebody who really um, wants to learn how to network more, if you are somebody who wants to learn how to create relationships, how to grow your business, how to grow your career, how to like find friends, how to enrich your life in terms of the connections that are made within it, this is the live for you. So I recently ran an event called Speakeasy, and Speakeasy was it was a masterclass that we did talking all about how you can become a paid speaker, how you can do speaking and consulting, how to find your audience, how to craft your pitch, how to have a conversation with decision makers, how to do all of these things. And when I was crafting this masterclass, and then as I had people come in and actually start working with me to like one-on-one to grow their speaking careers and their consulting businesses around coming in and teaching and speaking, I realized that this is something that is like, it's so second nature to me. And I want to be really clear, it wasn't always second nature to me, and I still have some stuff around it every now and then. But it's so second nature to me that sometimes I forget that like other people haven't been taught how to do this. And so I was like, oh, if I was going to teach people how to absolutely rock like a networking opportunity, whether that was an event that they're going to online or in person, whether that was a like an actual networking group that has monthly or weekly sessions that you go to, and like the purpose of the place is specifically for networking, or it's more of like a conference or a learning opportunity, and there's going to be other like-minded people in that space with you that it might be good to meet and to learn from. So that's what I was like, let me just come on here and talk about this. And for anyone who's watching this and going, okay, well, what the heck does this have to do with Traumally? A lot of us have so many past painful experiences around learning how to meet other people, to connect with other people, to make asks for connections, to it like y'all, this goes back to the school playground. This goes back to the elementary school playground where we're walking up to people and basically saying like, hey, can we talk? Can I play with you? Can we be friends? And so if you are somebody who has some past painful experiences around making friends or connecting with other people, if you have past painful experiences around pitching or using your voice, maybe you've been in scenarios where you thought somebody was being friendly and in reality, they were just trying to pitch you. Maybe you are like, I really want to learn how to make the most of these opportunities. And like, I have no idea how to go about this. So I wanted to do this live here and share this because these are my top 5 tips for being able to network in a way that honors your past painful experiences, that like you get to do it in a way that feels relatively safe for you. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yeah. Are you probably going to get a little dysregulated around it or activated around it? Sure. Can we work through that? Yeah. Are there tips and tricks and strategies and a lot of things that we can do if you want together to help you feel more comfortable and more regulated in your body as you do these things, sure. And sometimes it's helpful to have the like, what am I doing and how am I doing it before you get to the like, okay, and how do I feel good around doing it? How do I actively go and do it? So like this is these are the things that I see successful networkers do. People who use the power of community, who create social capital, who really come at their relationships from and come up their networking opportunities from a relational perspective. So here's thing number one. Thing number one, and so many people don't do this. So many people do not do this, is if you are going to a networking event, please be comfortable. And I mean, be comfortable from a physical perspective. You're already probably going to be a little emotionally or psychologically uncomfortable. So, do we also want shoes that hurt your feet? Do we also want pants that are too tight? Do we also want to wear a dress that you're worried about bending over in? Do we want to wear a shirt that we might spill food on if there's things at the event? Do we want to have a ton of makeup on when we don't normally wear makeup and like we might rub our eyes or like get our lipstick off? Be comfortable. And the thing is that a lot of times we're afraid to dress the way or to make ourselves up, to present ourselves the way that we want to present. And I've been in scenarios before where people are more dressed up than I am. I've been in scenarios where people are less dressed up than I am. The goal of this is to within the and by the way, like you can dress however you want in these spaces. Just know that other people will be perceiving you, and you get to be like, I'm cool being perceived however they want to perceive me. Or maybe you're like, oh, I'm not ready to hold that level of perception yet. Like, let me blend in a little more. If one of the best ways to figure out dress is to, if you're going to go to an event, is to ask like, hey, what do people typically wear to this, right? And a lot of times it'll say like business casual or business professional, and then you can go online and Google what are some business casual outfits, what are some business professional outfits. For me personally, it doesn't matter if it says business casual or professional. I'm probably wearing a t-shirt. The last event I spoke at, I wore this shirt. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. People came up, people talked to me. It was a really great way to network with people. This is actually one of the things that I use in terms of networking. So, but for you, that might not feel great. So I'll take this t-shirt and I'll throw on a cute pair of black slacks and some heels and a blazer, or I'll take this t-shirt and throw on some jeans and like a cute overlay if I need it, and like some sneakers. I will shift this and change this up. And I'm always like, how can I be comfortable? Sometimes I'll bring a second pair of shoes and I'll wear one pair of shoes while I'm on stage speaking, because a lot of times the events I'm going to, like I'm presenting or speaking, and I'll wear a separate pair of shoes for that, or I'll wear a pair of shoes while I'm there, and then I'll have a pair of shoes in my car for after when I'm driving home or for the after party or whatever. You are allowed to be comfortable. You are allowed to be comfortable physically. And the more comfortable you are physically, the less distracted you're going to be. The less distracted you're going to be. So, invitation to think about that. That's the first one. The second one is to be prepared. And by being prepared, I don't mean that you are coming in the traditional sense, like you've got your elevator pitch of 30 to 45 seconds so you can tell people what you do and who you are and why they'd want to know you. If that feels good for you to have, cool. And that's something that I think for some people, it does feel supportive to be like, well, if somebody asks me what I do, this is what I'm going to say. For me, this is my spiel. If somebody's like, especially if they come up around this, they're like, oh, tell me about trauma, right? Which is essentially like, why are you wearing that shirt? Tell me about what you do. And I'll say, oh, yeah, I run an international online trauma institute, and we do education and support and training for people who want to understand how their past painful experiences are affecting them in the present. That's the long version. I'll also say, oh, I'm Dr. Lee. I teach people how their past painful experiences are affecting them in the present moment and how to shift them to create a future that they love. Like I might say that. I might say, oh, I help people feel their feelings, right? I've got a couple different versions depending on where I'm at, who I'm talking to. And so that preparation is really helpful. The other piece of this is, do I want to have business cards? How do I want people to connect with me? Now, interestingly, if there are more younger humans at your event, or it's a less like corporate-y professional event, you don't often need business cards. A lot of times people will just scan your QR code. You have a QR code on LinkedIn. If you get into your LinkedIn app, and you hit the search bar, there's a little QR code. People can scan that and follow you on LinkedIn. You can have a digital business card. I actually have a digital business card through a company called Popple. I can shift the links and the things in there depending on where I'm going, shift the picture. People can sign up and actually come onto my email list from there. It's so awesome and fun. And so you can have a digital business card. You might want to collect business cards. For me, I would rather collect business cards than give mine out because that puts the connection in my hands. Now, I'll do both, but like I would so much rather have somebody's business card so that I can afterwards send them an email, connect with them, invite them out for a coffee, or like send them a resource if they've asked for it, to be able to do those things because that's in my control. And so you having a business card, like not having a business card, isn't the end of the world. Is there some place in that conversation right there where you can connect with that person? Do you have a website with a form, like a contact form on it? They can fill that out. Can you scrawl their email or your email on a piece of paper? I've done that before. Can you put the like, is there some way for you to continue to stay connected? And I think social media is a great way to do this. If someone's like, oh, let me follow you on Instagram, and you pull up your Instagram and they follow you, okay, well, now you know anyone who followed me from this time to this time, like that's somebody I might want to connect with and see if they want to have a conversation. So another way about being prepared is if people, like, especially if you're speaking or if you have a if people are like, oh my gosh, I'd love to learn more about what it is that you do. I'd love to learn more. Do you have a place to send them? Is there an offer? Is there something you're thinking about doing? This is kind of advanced level. And especially if you're speaking and knowing if this is okay, right? I always ask for consent from the event or networking organizers. Is it okay to sell? Like, do I have something that I think for this specific audience of people would be helpful? And do I have an easy way for them to find that? So for example, when I spoke at this women's leadership conference, I was like, hey, y'all, I don't have business cards. And if this talk resonated for you today, do me a favor, go to my website. Here it is. Take out your phone, go to my website, scroll to the bottom, click that contact form, put your first name, put your email, and all you have to do is write blank. And then I knew when those emails came in, this is what these people are interested in. And I said, oh, and if you're interested in something different, you can just write, different. You make it as easy as possible for people to do the thing in the moment so that you can then follow up around that thing. Okay. So that's number 2. The third one is to be focused. And by the way, this is an interesting one because I think a lot of times people think like be super focused on whatever your goal is. Like be focused on getting the most business cards in the room or handing the most out, or be focused on talking to every single person. No, be focused on on outside of yourself. Right? A lot of times we come into events like this and the focus gets put on, well, what do other people think of me? And how am I looking? And how am I showing up? And this and that. Invitation to think about, how am I going to connect with the people in this room? How am I going to take the focus off of myself and put the focus on the other people in this room and really get to know some people and see if there's somebody that I vibe with or I connect with, even if it's one person. So maybe I'm going to focus on saying hi to 5 different people. Maybe I'm going to focus on walking up to one group of humans that's talking and introducing myself. Maybe I'm going to focus on, sharing what I do 3 times. Maybe I'm going to focus on asking one question of each person at this event. Maybe I'm going to focus on watching how other people are networking or interacting. Is there someone that I'd like to meet that I'm recognizing, oh, someone I know knows that person. Could I ask them to introduce us, right? As the 2 of them are talking, could I come up because they know each other and I know her? So that could be a good time for an introduction. But when I say be focused, a lot of times we'll come into events like this and we're like, well, I just want to meet people. I just want to network. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? So take the focus off of yourself, put the focus on what is it that I would like to accomplish? What is it that I would like to walk away from this experience with? And how can I then focus in on the humans around me and really make those connections in a way that I can go, oh yeah, I'm enjoying asking this person questions. It was my goal to ask 5 people a question. And these 2 people, I asked them a question and then it turned into this 5-minute conversation and it was really great and I enjoyed it. So like, I think I want to connect with them further. Point number 4 is to be open. So a lot of times we come into a space making a ton of assumptions around ourselves, around the people in the room, around like the space in general. And you're gonna, if you come into a space making a bunch of assumptions, you're gonna miss some really cool stuff. So, coming into a space where maybe people are like it's a well-formed networking group and it's been there for 20 years, you might go like, well, oh, everybody in here is best friends and like, you know, they're in the in crowd and I don't know, I'm going to be the newbie and they're going to like, right? A lot of times we'll do that before we come in. Women's leadership conference. Oh, everyone in here is going to be so accomplished and so professional and so well put together. And I'm just this person with this brand new baby business. And your brain's probably going to do some things like that out of self-protection. And this is where this connects to trauma and past painful experiences. Maybe you've had some past painful experiences where you came in open to a space and then like something painful happened or unexpected happened and you felt hurt or humiliated or abandoned or rejected or betrayed or whatever, right? And so now it's, okay, well, let me go ahead and like guard up and armor up before this so that I can protect myself. And so invitation to really notice where that starts happening, where your ego, and I don't mean ego negatively, it's your ego is the part of you, your identity that gets formed and tries to protect you and who you are. And so when your ego is going to kind of kick in here and go like, oh, okay, well, we've been hurt before by people. So how can we protect ourselves? Oh yeah, those 3 women, they look like this person that really hurt me before. So I'm not going to go talk to them because I can just tell that they're like her. Well, is that true? You haven't talked to them. You don't know. So being open, and also being like, you know what, even if they're snooty or mean to me or like don't allow me in the conversation or they like make snarky remarks. Okay, I'm a grown adult. I can be like, all right, bye. And I can walk away from that and recognize it's not about me. It's about them. They're making some assumptions about me and about how I'm not going to jive. And so like, that's their loss, not mine. Right. So being open-minded, being willing to just try one new thing, being willing to have a conversation with somebody that at first you're like, oh, I don't know. Y'all, some of the most incredible business connections I have made are around or with people that I wouldn't have traditionally thought of as like people that I would do business with. So getting to know people and being open-minded and not judging people beforehand, the same way you don't want to be judged, is going to be really important. Okay. And then the 5th thing, I need you to be you. If you are having to put on a mask and pretend to be somebody at this event, that means that the next time that people meet you, like people from that event see you, you've got to maintain that, which is a problem. If the next time you see this person, they're also with someone who you met in a different space and you acted differently with, and you can't be 2 different people at once. Pretending to be more or less of something to try to get somebody to like you, to buy from you, to do business with you, like it's short term that might work, but long term I have yet to see that not see that blow up in someone's face. Oh, that's not a very trauma-informed thing to say. I have yet to see that not cause harm in the long term. I have yet to see you pushing beyond your capacity, you laughing when you don't think something's funny, you not laughing when you think something's funny, you holding back a comment that you think would actually be really helpful, you being afraid of speaking too much, you being afraid of not speaking enough, you shifting and twisting and cutting pieces and parts off of yourself or like adding on masks. I have yet to see that work long term. And the more you network as your not self and people get to know you as that not self, the more you're going to have to not be yourself. And so being yourself here, being you, that doesn't mean you can't bring different versions of you into a space. And when I say versions, like pieces and parts of you into a space, like maybe this is a networking event that's based more on like improv and comedy, like bring more of your silly side out there, practice that. maybe this is a space where it is a little bit more like serious, or, there's like more structure to it. You can also still be a little silly there, right? You can still bring laughter and levity to that if that's truly who you are. And if people are like, "Oh my gosh, we hate that." Okay, well, then I probably don't belong in this space, because I'm going to crack jokes and I'm going to bring levity to things, and not from a place of like I'm trying to get you to like me, from a place of that's how I like to roll. So, being yourself is the quickest way to determine if a connection that you make, a space that you're in, an event that you're like, oh, I think I might want to speak here next year. I might want to do more with this next year. It's the quickest way to know, like, is this something that I want to keep doing? Are these relationships that I want to foster and cultivate? Like, is this the place that I like to be? And so I think that this last one of being yourself, another piece of this is honoring your capacity. So if you're more of an introvert and the event's like 12 hours long and 8 hours in, you're like, I am just done, you can go. The last event that I went to, I showed up like 20 minutes late, and I wasn't late because it wasn't like you have to be here or you're not allowed in. I wasn't speaking until 2:30, and I had a really rough morning. And to be completely honest, I forgot my deodorant. And I was like, I cannot be at this event for 8 hours today without deodorant on speaking, because when I speak, I sweat like all get out. I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm not going to be able to be focused. I don't feel prepared. Um, and I am not going to be able to just like be my full whole self, because I love moving around and doing all this, and I don't really want to smell myself all day. So I just noticed, like, you know what? You're going to be 20 minutes late because you're going to stop at CVS and you're going to grab some deodorant. And oh, while we're here, let's grab some note cards for that presentation we're going to do. Like, let's do that. And then I came in, I was more relaxed. I came in and I moved to the back of the room and people watched me walk in, and I was just like, hi. And I just went in. Like, I didn't cause a distraction. I didn't cause a problem. If they didn't want me to come back in the room, they would have locked the doors. So, did I get perceived as somebody who was walking in late? Sure. Is that who I am sometimes? Yeah. Am I someone, when other people aren't waiting on me to get started, that I might show up a few minutes late in order to make sure that I am good and regulated and able to be present and fully there? Yeah, sometimes I do that. And how many of us have past painful experiences around that, where you're like, oh, I have to be 10 minutes early, or I have to stay for the entire time, or I have to be fully focused and I can't stand up, take a break, take a stretch. One of the things I do in conferences, I went to a conference, one day event conference a couple months ago, and it was like a very professional conference, and they had hour and 15-minute sessions. And for me, like, you asking me to sit still for an hour and 15 minutes, you have lost. No, that's not happening. So at one point, about 45 minutes in, I got up and I went to the back of the room and I took my notebook and I was standing there and taking notes, and I was kind of rocking like you do when you're a mama and you've had babies, and you just got that like low level standing still sway going on. And as I looked around the room, I saw a bunch of people who were like jittering their legs and like clandestinely texting under the table. And I was like, oh, these people don't feel safe standing up. They don't feel safe getting up and taking a break. They feel like they're going to be distracting. They feel like they need to like fit in. And yeah, there's some assumption in that. And like, I could see it as the time progressed, more and more people, you could see them getting itchy and like restless. Being yourself is honoring your capacity when that itchiness or that restlessness starts and says, well, what do I need to keep listening? Or what do I need to be at full capacity to be able to stay here for 12 hours? Is it to go ahead and go to the bathroom now before there's a mad dash for it and the break? If so, that's okay. I can do that. So being yourself and honoring your capacity is a huge part of this, because if you hate the experience, you're not going to come back. And the whole point is for you to continue to connect with people in person, virtually, to foster these connections, to build this social capital and relationships, so that you, as you move in and do other things, you've got connections. And it's not just from the like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to make all these connections with people so they can help me. It's also so I can help them and we can help each other. And maybe this doesn't maybe I go to a business networking opportunity and I don't even connect with anyone around business, but I meet someone who has kids who are the same age as mine and they become friends. Or I meet somebody else who's really into bowling and we start bowling together once a week. Like a lot of times when we think about networking, we think about it from this transactional perspective. And I want y'all to start thinking about this as one of the ways to enrich our lives the most as humans is connection. Connecting with other humans who we feel like it's a mutually beneficial relationship, meaning that we help them, they help us. We both get something good out of this. And it's not the same thing necessarily, but it feels good for both of us to be in this relationship. The relationship serves and supports both of us. That is like the best part of being a human, is being able to be with someone where you're like, oh yeah, it feels good to be with you. And the more you go to opportunities like this and you practice these 5 things that we talked about, the better and better it's going to start feeling. I want to be honest with you. I still get nervous before I walk into these places sometimes, especially if it's a new one that I don't know. And what I've realized is like, I like myself. I like communicating and connecting with myself. And so if somebody else doesn't like that, that's cool because I'll keep myself company. And when I take the pressure off of me to be like this really awesome person that they want to connect with, I take the pressure off of making this transaction, doing this deal of I got your business card and you got mine. When I just go and focus on, all right, well, is there anyone here that I think is cool? Who also might think I'm cool? And maybe we want to chat about business or work or kids or just maybe we just want to even be friends. So I hope that's helpful for you. If this is helpful for you, I would love to hear your takeaways in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, I would love for you to hashtag replay so I can come back and say hi to you. And yeah, I'm going to keep just doing some lives and talking about whatever I want to talk about. So I'll be back when I'm back. And I hope I hope this is helpful. And if there's something else that you'd like me to speak on, if there's something that or a specific question that you have around networking that maybe you'd like some help on, feel free to send me a message or you can leave it in the comments. So happy to answer that for you. So hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day and you get out there and network, and I'll talk to you next time.